did you have any hesitations coming into insurance only?
Absolutely. Who wouldn't? You're
Tell me
brand
why.
new
Tell
into
me
your
why.
career, and it looks like pigeonholing yourself. You know, when I was in accounting, the theory there is that you get as much broad experience as possible and you don't specialise until about 5 years on. So the thought of specialising right off the bat was a little bit concerning. And I remember speaking to my mum, and I was interviewing with a few places at the same time, and she was not happy with the idea of me coming to Skye because both of my parents are accountants too.
Yeah.
And so she was like, are you sure it's going to be the right decision to specialise straight away? Are you sure that's going to be the right choice for your long-term career future? And to be honest, now that I've started working here and I have more of an understanding of the advice world, I think it's a great choice.
Hey there. So today I'm doing another interview with one of our team members. So we've got Ashleigh Campbell. Welcome, Ashleigh.
Hey Phil, how's it going?
Ashleigh Margaret. Sorry, I should have thrown out your middle name. All right, Ashleigh Margaret. So you're 12 months into Skye.
Yeah.
So I'm going to interview you about your experience so far, the goods, the bads, the uglies. So talk to me about what is your role here at Skye?
My role is forever changing, as it does in the first few years. I am currently a junior advisor or provisional advisor. I am now presenting advice unsupervised, but still provisionally, so it's all being checked over.
Yep, supervised, yep.
Yep. I am still preparing deals, chatting to clients, answering questions, all sorts of things.
Cool. So talk to me about professional year. So just explain what it is and then how it's gone. When did you start it? How much long do you have? Like, where were we at?
Professional year is something new-ish to the advice field. It came into play a few years ago off the back of the Royal Commission and all sorts of things. It's minimum a year, and it's broken down into quarters. Now, each quarter is a little bit different, but really it's broken into two halves. The first half is spent learning how to do the role of an advisor, observing, lots and lots of observing, and a little bit of practice being fully supervised. And then in the second half, once you've passed the exam, which Phil absolutely loved that exam, I know, you then have the training wheels loosened. They're not off, they're still there, they're still the guardrails, but you're allowed to present on your own. You're allowed to have more client communications on your own, but you still have the same sort of framework protecting you.
Yeah. And so what are you in? I should know this. You're in Q3. When do you get to quarter 4?
I think I have about 100 more hours left that I need to log. So the quarters are largely dictated by the amount of experience that you've gained, and you have to be logging all of these hours throughout.
Yeah,
so I think it's about 3 more weeks.
Yeah, cool.
1 month.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So when you first joined, you weren't going to do your professional year straight away?
No.
And then we decided to just YOLO?
Yep.
No. The truth is we saw that you're incredibly capable to start your professional year, and we had other team members starting it as well. So we thought it'd be great if we just have a cohort going together. It'll be easier for you, easier for everyone else if we do it together. So talk to me about that experience doing it with other team members.
Yeah, it's been great. So coming from the accounting world, that largely works in cohorts. So to be in financial advice where the teams are a little bit smaller compared to the volumes going through accounting, it's been really nice to have the ability and the camaraderie to go through with a cohort. We can bounce ideas off each other, find out how each other's learnings are going, make sure that we're, keeping on similar track to each other. Obviously, you don't want to be comparing too much because
Comparison is the thief of joy. That's what I tell my girls all the time.
It's a good quote.
Yeah.
But it's good to have the other people to work with.
Yeah, cool. And so coming into advice, what were you doing before Skye?
Before Skye, I was at another firm. I had only just started doing my graduate diploma in financial planning, and so they were my intro into financial advice. They were primarily in the investing space and superannuation space, and that just wasn't really sitting with me. So March of last year, I started looking for new jobs and ended up here.
Cool. And why? What did you have any hesitations coming into insurance only?
Absolutely. Who wouldn't? You're
Tell me
brand
why.
new
Tell
into
me
your
why.
career, and it looks like pigeonholing yourself. You know, when I was in accounting, the theory there is that you get as much broad experience as possible and you don't specialize until about 5 years on. So the thought of specializing right off the bat was a little bit concerning. And I remember speaking to my mum, and I was interviewing with a few places at the same time, and she was not happy with the idea of me coming to Skye because both of my parents are accountants too.
Yeah.
And so she was like, are you sure it's going to be the right decision to specialize straight away? Are you sure that's going to be the right choice for your long-term career future? And to be honest, now that I've started working here and I have more of an understanding of the advice world, I think it's a great choice. And I think it, if I were to ever leave Skye, would make career options broader. It would make me more competitive to have that specialization in risk, particularly because risk is a little bit dying for the average advisor.
Yeah. And so your mum told you not to. You come from an industry where you thought it was a dumb idea. Why did you accept the position?
Because I'd heard about you on the podcasts and it just seemed like a good environment. And then the interview process was different to other places. It was a lot more relaxed compared to what I'd experienced, and the environment felt like it was going to be a better fit.
Cool. And is it as what you hoped it to be?
Better.
Okay, good. I mean, you are being recorded, so you always got to take these things with a grain of salt.
Well,
but
I didn't think I would be nearly done with my professional year by now. I thought that by now I would be in quarter 2 and still a few months or weeks off of even getting to be able to present on my own.
And is being specialising in one area, has it been like harder than you expected? Has it been easier than you expected?
I don't know. It's definitely a good experience to be able to just drill down on one thing. I think I just expected holistic advice to be much easier than it would be. So now when I think back to what holistic advice would have been like, I think that would have been so hard, and I don't know how anyone could become a holistic advisor in 1 year.
And insurance only, is that is the actual advice... So before you came to Skye, did you think the insurance only was relatively easy and basic? Did you think we were basic?
No, I just didn't know what was happening. I assumed there was going to be some level of complexity to it that I just didn't know about.
And is it more complex than you were assumed, or is it easier than you assumed?
There's more learning in it than I expected. So, yeah, I guess it is more complex than I assumed.
Yeah. And one of the things that, one of the things that we like to talk about at Skye and the benefits is the amount of client interactions. At the end of the day, as an advisor, like the technical competencies of whatever you're giving advice on is incredibly important. That's kind of the ticket to the game. You've got to be technically good at what you're doing. But it's also much more important about the client experience and how clients are educated through the process, and that's something that I think is beneficial at Skye. Has that been your experience, being able to have the amount of phone calls early on, the amount of meetings has been helpful?
Yeah, I think it's great. I don't think you could be a competent advisor with the normal sort of volume in this shorter time frame. You know, a normal sort of volume is one client a week. Whereas
I was listening to a podcast this morning and they were like 1 to 3 a quarter was the average when they surveyed people. Yeah, it's like really small.
Whereas here I have 6 advice meetings this week.
Yeah.
And that's not the only clients I'll be talking to. So
yeah,
very different volumes.
Yeah, cool. And what's been the most surprising thing about Skye?
Just how relaxed everything is.
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Haven't decided yet, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is
it's
surprising.
working for me.
Yeah, that's what Neha said when I asked her. She was like, everyone's so much more relaxed than I kind of assumed. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, probably the tone that you set. you know, you like to make sure that people aren't saying that they're busy, they're at capacity. I think the expectations for us are reasonable instead of overextending everyone. I know the expectations in this industry can be quite crazy, whereas here the expectation is that you're, you know, doing the 9 to 5, you're getting your work done, and you're communicating if there is too much on your plate.
Yeah. All right. So, you work in the hybrid?
Yep.
But a lot of our team have been remote first and remote only. How do you feel that experience has been for you, positive or negative, being more hybrid?
Well, I spent the last 5 weeks in Perth, and so I was completely remote. And I missed coming to the office. It's nice to have that social interaction, but also I get to overhear conversations and learn a little bit more that way. So having access to the hybrid and being here in Melbourne, I think is a big benefit for me.
Yeah. And you know, some people benefit. Some people, the way I think about it at the moment is like some people, like for me, I could be remote 100% of the time and I would be fine, but I think it's better for me not to be fully remote for the team. And like Trent has been remote for, I don't know, a long time now. And I think it's better for the team if he's comes back to the office at some point in his life when he decides to. So there are definitely like pros and cons, and some people will benefit from it, some people don't need it. And so, you know, now we're a year in. Is there anything that, looking back, that you would have done different, or you think that we should have done different?
I think I should have backed myself more in the interview.
Mm-hmm.
I think I downplayed myself a little bit too much. And so maybe underbargained for myself coming into it. But it hasn't really changed anything too much. You know, I've still been able to get along through my professional year quite quickly at the same pace as the other two that started at the same time as me. The exam was done at the right time. I thought that the exam was being done too quickly when we first booked it in. Thankfully, it was passed and that was okay. But other than some of the processes that are already being ironed out, it's been pretty smooth.
We're talking about how do we get someone to really fix that for our new associates, because I'm not the person for the job. Trent's not the person for the job, so we're trying to work that out. I'm going to double click on that when you say back yourself more in the interview. Talk to me about that.
I had been in a few interviews prior to starting, and they told me I was asking for too much in terms of my salary.
Right.
I should have asked.
That's what you mean, salary. Yeah, got it. So we're not paying you enough, is what I'm hearing from this conversation.
We've had a review since. It's okay.
I know if anyone watching this would think the same thing, so that's why I say it, because I know what you paid now, and and also, I mean, so when we're interviewing, I know we've talked about this, but it's interesting to hear from my point of view, is when we interview, and we do this with our associates that we're interviewing now, is we always try and put them on a timeline in terms of where we think they are. And your salary, to be perfectly honest, whatever you asked for wasn't going to impact our offer. Our salary guidelines are very kind of clearly aligned based on where someone's trajectory is. So even if you asked for more, we would have offered you the same, because we assumed your career trajectory was at a certain point. Once you came in and we're like, okay, we think you're competent, and we think being with the others and moving you forward 6 months made sense. And it was also a bit of an experiment when we first had the conversation. We're like, we think you'll be okay, but we'll wait and see, because the good thing about the professional year, it is quarters, so you can always put something on hold and not move to the next quarter.
Yeah.
So that's why, from our point of view, I don't know if you were more confident, maybe we would have thought you would have come in at a certain level.
I think I could have backed my learning ability and the soft skills that I developed from my previous career. I think that maybe could have changed
Possibly,
things.
yeah. I mean, you still got the job.
Yeah,
So
I'm here. Happy
it
days.
didn't matter too much. But I wonder if, thinking about the interview, if we would have thought, you are starting where the others were starting, maybe that's actually an interesting comment. So talk to me about some hobbies that you have. Let's learn a bit more about Ash.
This is going to be my year of hobbies. There's a few things
Okay.
that I want to try. But for now, I do yoga. Haven't done that for a few months because I've been away, but picking that back up.
Did you do any while you were in Europe?
Only a little bit.
Okay.
A couple of places.
Wait, did you go to somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice. Harder to get to a yoga studio when it's the middle of Europe and you're just walking there.
And it's
a bit
winter
cold.
as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Not
horrible.
great. That's why I only did it once.
Yeah.
And then the hockey season's just started, so I play field hockey, like going on hikes, getting out in nature.
What's a new hobby?
And then I'm
for
thinking about
2025?
picking up swing dancing
Okay.
or finding, or both, a mixed tennis club to join.
Tennis. Yeah, cool. Because we've got a few tennis players in the office.
Oh, I forgot about
So
that.
we can hear that just down the road. You know what? Fun fact about me: I used to do swing dancing with my sister when I was a teenager.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I would think about that now. It's like I was 18, or maybe I was in high school, and my sister wanted to do it, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I did swing dancing for like, I don't know, maybe 6 months, a year or something. Just at
That's so brave.
yeah, really local. I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm a weird kid. Like, imagine a 17-year-old doing that now. They'd get bullied.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Anyway, so no, swing dance is cool. There's one local. I wonder if they're still doing it, but anyway, I'll Google it for you later. Cool, swing dancing. Do tennis.
Maybe both.
I think we've got a table tennis table set up there that you can practice your skills.
Yeah.
Any other hobbies?
And then I watched a lot of fringe shows while I was in Perth. And now I'm contemplating finding an adult beginner, like circus acrobats thing.
I know I can hook you up
which
there as
again.
well. I can hook you up. Anyway, Nexus, I'll hook you up. They've got heaps of classes there. Circus is a little bit expensive, but you can do like a tissue or you can. There's some cool classes there. Aerials is what they call it. All right, cool. Well, thank you for joining me. Anything else any question I didn't ask you about? What does the future look like at Skye or outside of Skye? You already flagged the idea about.
Maybe I'll leave.
You may be gone, but what's the future look like? What's the next 5 years look like in your career?
Oh my goodness, who knows? Just keep progressing through, finish the professional year, keep specialising in risk advice, getting more skilled and experienced, understand what defined benefits is.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Ashleigh. Appreciate
Thanks,
your time.
Bill.